Welcome back to Play Action Fantasy Football. This is Jonathan here with you going over our Week 13 running back starter sits. I hope you guys had a great weekend last weekend, and let's get into this. We got Thursday night, Seahawks at the Cowboys. We are looking at Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, and for as far as the Seahawks go. So I'm going to have to sit Charbonnet and Walker this week. Walker is doubtful. It's not looking like he's going to be playing. He sat out last week. He has an oblique issue, which is pretty serious. So it's not looking good for Walker. Most likely not playing. So obviously he's going to be a sit. And Charbonnet's been playing decently, coming in for Walker since he's been out and playing behind him. However, this week against the Cowboys, they're a tough defense. And they're not going to let him, run the ball all over them or get a lot of points. So definitely would not want Charbonnet in your lineup this week. And as far as the Cowboys go, we're looking at Pollard and Dowdle. Now, obviously, Pollard's going to be a start. He has a super high floor. This is a great matchup for him against the Seahawks, so Pollard's definitely getting a lot of points this week. And as far as Rico Dowdle goes, he's questionable, but he's probable. I think it's an ankle issue he's dealing with, but he's probable, looking pretty good. And I'm going to put him as a cautionary start this week. And I'm going to do that because the Seahawks are giving up a lot to running backs, and Dowdle is slowly creeping his way in there at that RB2 position, getting a good amount of usage out of that RB2 spot. So I do think this is a good week where you might want to put Dowdle in a flex position and look for him to put up some good points this week against the Seahawks. Next up, we got our Sunday 1 o'clock game, Colts at the Titans. Taylor and Moss for the Colts. Taylor is doubtful. He's having some thumb surgery this week. Not looking good for him as well. He's most likely going to be sitting, so you don't want Taylor in your lineup. And as far as Zach Moss goes, filling in for Taylor, he's going to be a cautionary start. I think this is definitely a good opportunity against the Titans for him to show up and show out with Taylor gone, so I would not be afraid to put him in your lineup whatsoever. But I will keep in mind that with Taylor out, they might lean on the passing a little bit more. They might be going to Joshua Downs, Michael Pittman, just a little bit more. So keep that in mind. Zach Moss is definitely going to be a good cautionary start depending what your lineup is. Now, as far as the Titans go, Derrick Henry, Tyjae Spears. Tyjae Spears, I'm going to sit him this week. It's a good matchup for running backs against the Colts. However, Tyjae Spears, he's really inconsistent, and his inconsistency doesn't have a super high ceiling. So he's going to be a sit for me. Got to see more from him. But Derrick Henry, man, this is a great matchup for him. He's kind of gaining some more and more momentum. He's had a rough year, and I think he's going to let it out on the Colts this week. Definitely you want Derrick Henry getting in that lineup this week. The next 1 o'clock game we're going to is the Falcons at the Jets. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. I'm starting Bijan Robinson. He's another guy who's building a lot of momentum. Just like Derrick Henry, he's a great running back, had an up and down year, but this is going to be a game where it's a great matchup against the Jets. Jets are giving up a lot of points to running backs, and Bijan Robinson is taking all he can get right now. So I like Bijan Robinson a lot. Definitely want to start him against the Jets this week. And Tyler Algier, he's going to be a cautionary start. He had 10 rushes last week. He's still involved catching the ball in this offense, even with Bijan Robinson playing number RB1 and playing good. But Algier is definitely going to be a cautionary start for me this week. Definitely might want to put him in your lineup at flex position, see what he can do. Maybe you might have better options and don't want to do that, but he's certainly not somebody I'd be afraid to against the Jets this week. Now, as far as the Jets go, Breece Hall, this might be the first time I'm going to have to sit him. I do not like this matchup whatsoever for the Jets, especially the running back position. Breece Hall, I think over the last 3 weeks, he had 30 carries for 56 yards. That's less than 2 yards a carry over the past 3 weeks, and that's just unacceptable for Breece Hall. So I'm going to have to sit him this week against a very good Falcons defense, especially against a run. The next game we're going to be going to is going to be the Lions at the Saints. And as far as the Saints go, we got Alvin Kamara, Lions, Montgomery, and Gibbs. We're going to start all three of these guys. All three of these guys, I think, are top 10 running backs in the league for sure. And They both have good defenses. The Lions and the Saints both have good defenses. However, they're not going to be able to control these running backs. These running backs will run the ball. They will catch the ball. They will do what they need to do to score. Now, Montgomery's definitely more of the powerhouse running back, getting a lot of those rushing yards, and Gibbs in the passing game is just phenomenal. So definitely want to start both those guys. And Kamara, he's going to be a start as well. Like I said, I think Kamara, the Lions have a very good defense, okay? And the Saints, they have Michael Thomas out now. Chris Olave was dealing with some issues last game. Now they have Taysom Hill. They got their quarterback situation right now. They're going to be relying on Alvin Kamara. And whether it's in the pass, running game, it doesn't matter. He's going to be getting the ball. So definitely want Kamara in your lineup this week. Next up, we got the Broncos at the Texans. As far as the Broncos go, we have Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine's going to be a sit for me, okay? I'm not going to cover too much of it. I need to see more from him. He scored last week against the Browns, but I need to see more from him before I'm going to even give him a cautionary start. So he's a sit for me. Javonte Williams, he has a high floor and a low ceiling, so I think he's going to be a start. He's definitely getting points. He's going to get you at minimum 12 to 15 points. He might hit 20, but he's not going to hit, nothing crazy. No Raheem Mostert, 35, and 40 points, whatever you want to call it. But he's definitely a reliable running back. So definitely want Javonte Williams in your lineup. And as far as the Texans go, Devin Singletary, Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is going to be a sit. This has been a terrible season for Pierce so far. He had a good rookie year last year, but he's really being shown out by C.J. Stroud, Singletary, and other members on this offense. So Pierce is going to have to sit this week. And Singletary, I'm starting him this week. He's moving up there in that running back position as Pierce started the year covering the RB1. Now Singletary's coming up there. He's catching the ball like crazy with C.J. Stroud passing him the ball. And not to mention going against the Broncos defense, who's number 32 against running backs in fantasy. So this is going to be a great game for Singletary. Definitely get him in your lineup. And if he's available in your league, you definitely want to pick him up. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we're going to the Chargers at the Patriots. Eckler and Stevenson. This is pretty simple. We're starting both these guys. Eckler's a huge part of that Chargers offense, one of the best running backs in the league. We all know how capable he is of catching passes, running the ball. So definitely start him. Stevenson for the Patriots, I got to start him. He's going up against a struggling Chargers defense. They've been struggling all year, and Stevenson is really the only solid part of this Patriots offense. So Stevenson is guaranteed points. Definitely want to start him and Eckler this week. Next up, we're going to the Cardinals at the Steelers. Running backs James Conner, Najee Harris, and Jaylen Warren. James Conner, he's going to be a cautionary start this week, okay? He has not been playing great since he came back. He came back about 3 or 4 weeks ago and off injury, and he has not been looking like the old James Conner. But this could be a game, especially for him personally, going against the Steelers, coming from where he was drafted from, and now he went to Cardinals. This is kind of his revenge series right here. So I do see Conner putting up better numbers than he has in the past, over the past 3-4 weeks, I should say. And I'm going to have to say you could cautiously put him in your lineup, maybe at flex, but I would not put him at anything more than that. And maybe you want to pick him up off waivers if he is available. So Conner's going to be a cautionary start. As far as the Steelers go, Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren are both going to be starts. Both these guys have shown a lot of potential. Najee Harris, he started off this season really slow. However, he's been on the come up. The Cardinals are one of the worst defenses in the league, especially against the run. So Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris, they're going to be getting a lot of points. Jaylen Warren, he definitely catches a lot of passes. Kenny Pickett's looking even better, which only extends to more red zone touches for Harris and Warren. So both of them are going to be starts this week. Get them in your lineup, and they're definitely producing points against this Cardinals defense. Next up, we're going to the Dolphins at the Commanders. Raheem Mostert and Achane for the Dolphins. Mostert's going to be a start, not too much to cover there. He's an amazing back. The Dolphins use him a tremendous amount, and against the Commanders' defense, it's going to be a good week for the Dolphins. So as far as Achane goes, he's questionable, and we're really unsure if he's going to be playing yet. Again, this is Tuesday that I'm recording, so we'll have to kind of see how it plays throughout the week. But either way, I would not want to start Achane this week. He's going to be a sit. You can keep an eye on him if you really feel like you want to put him in there. It's very risky, and I would not do it. But he's definitely a guy who you really never know. He could come off this and play really good, so you really never know. I can't give him a cautionary sit, but or cautionary start, but just keep that in mind that he is a very good ball player. Now, as far as the Commanders go, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, not too much cover there. He gets 5 to 10 points at the highest, and so that's a sit. There's nothing else about that. He's a sit. Brian Robinson, he's a cautionary start this week. He has a great floor. He's definitely guaranteed to get you 10 points, 8 to 10 points guaranteed. But he has a low ceiling. He's not going to hit over 20 points against the Dolphins. He's not going to be going off, so keep that in mind. I would definitely like him in a flex position, maybe RB2 if you have to, but don't expect too much from Brian Robinson this week. The next 4 o'clock game, or should I say the first 4 o'clock game we're going to, is the Panthers at the Buccaneers. We're looking at Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders for the Panthers. Both are going to be sits, okay? Buccaneers, one of the best run defenses and against running backs in fantasy. I believe they're number 4, and they're going to be in Tampa Bay this week. Panthers have not been looking good whatsoever this season, have been looking terrible. Chuba Hubbard not getting any more than 10 to 15 points, and Miles Sanders no more than 5 points. So not too much to say there. I'm not going to want to play either of them in my league, and neither should you. So sit both those guys, and Rachaad White, get him in your lineup. Start that guy. Panthers are not a good defense. This is a good matchup for him, and the Buccaneers like to use him. They like to I think what they like to do is take some of the pressure off Baker and give it a little more to Rachaad White. Sometimes they like to give him the ball quite a bit, so he's going to be a start this week. Going to be a good week for Rachaad White against the Panthers. Next up, we're going to 49ers at the Eagles. Might be the game of the week. McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift. Not too much cover there either. McCaffrey, nothing to cover there. He's amazing running back, amazing part of this 49ers offense. Going against a good Eagles team, it might limit him a little bit to not have his best game of the season. However, he's Christian McCaffrey and will put up points. And DeAndre Swift, almost the same thing. 49ers, very good defense, but DeAndre Swift, he's a huge part of this Eagles offense. He's a 15-point solid. He catches the ball a lot, so definitely get him in your lineup. The next 4 o'clock game we're going to is the Browns at the Rams. Running backs Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, and Kyren Williams. We'll start with the Browns. Jerome Ford, RB1 for the Browns, is going to be a sit for me this week. The Rams have a very good run defense. They're, I believe, number 8. And the Browns will be in Rams territory this week. And the Browns offense is in a heated seat, not knowing really what's going on with that offense at quarterback. And really just that whole offense in general. So Jerome Ford this week, going to have to sit him. Kareem Hunt, I'm going to put him as a cautionary start. You might want to put him in a flex, but nothing more than that. Just for the reasons of this offense really needs something to really push them, and Kareem Hunt is that kind of guy. He gets red zone touches, can get in the end zone, he fights for yards, and against the Rams, who have a good defense, the Browns might take more use of that with Hunt rather than Ford this week. So look for Hunt there, cautionary start, maybe put him in your flex depending on your lineup. Now, as far as the Rams go, Kyren Williams, I'm starting him. The Browns have a very good defense. However, they've been struggling the past few weeks, and the momentum's on Kyren Williams' side. Ever since he came back off injury, he's been rolling on fire, and I don't see any reason why it should slow up against the Browns yet, and so I'm going to have to start him. Definitely get Kyren Williams in your lineup and look for him to get points against the Browns. Next, we got our Sunday night game, Chiefs at the Packers. Running backs Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon for the Chiefs. Pacheco's going to be a start. This is a great matchup for him. He has a high floor and a high ceiling in this game. He's going to be putting up a lot of points. You can definitely rely on Pacheco this week. 100% get him in your lineup and just look for him to eat. Jerick McKinnon, he's questionable. He sat last week, not looking good for him. He might be playing this week, however, he's going to be a sit for me. They're definitely going to be using Pacheco quite a bit this week, so you want to sit McKinnon. Now, as far as the Packers go, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones, he's been dealing with injuries all year. It's getting quite annoying. However, he is going to be a sit this week. Even if he does play, he's not going to get a lot of touches. It's going to be a lot more limited, and A.J. Dillon has been playing pretty well in his abstinence. So, A.J. Dillon, I'm putting as a cautionary start. Definitely might want to put him in your flex. The Chiefs have a decent defense. However, A.J. Dillon's definitely a big part of this Packers offense, especially if Aaron Jones is out. So keep that in mind. Look at Aaron Jones throughout the week, at his injury update, and take what you want from there. But A.J. Dillon, cautionary start. And then lastly, we got our Monday night game, Bengals at the Jaguars. Running backs Joe Mixon and Travis Etienne. Joe Mixon, cautionary start against the Jaguars. I would like to start him, however, now that Browning's in that offense and we really don't know what the Bengals offense wants to do yet, if they want to run the ball, if they want to pass the ball, if they want play actions and over the tops. We don't know what they want. So Mixon's a cautionary start. Mixon was not heavily involved last week, which was a little bit surprising given Joe Burrow's injury. However, we'll have to just kind of wait and see how this plays out. So Mixon, obviously, one of the better running backs in the league. You're most likely going to want him in your lineup for sure. But if you're questioning him and you think you have maybe somebody better, then you might want to go with them. Now, as far as the Jaguars go, Travis Etienne, this is going to be a very big game for him, I believe. I strongly believe Etienne's going to have a great week. He was a little slow the past few weeks as far as points go, but this is going to be his blow-up week. The Bengals are giving up a lot to running backs, and Travis Etienne, we all know what he's capable of. So this week, put a star by Travis Etienne. He's going to have a great week. And that's going to do it for our Week 13 running back start sits. This is Jonathan. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And most of all, have a great weekend.